Hi guys, welcome to Mishy's Musings. Today I'm going to walk through one of my custom paintings. All the material I will be using are listed in the description box below. This is the painting that we're going to be working on today, but instead of black and white, we're going to use aqua green. For this painting, we are going to use primarily the aqua green and titanium white. I am going to use a pouring medium to thin out my paints a little bit for better coverage with less streaks. The background color will be the green, which is my favorite color. And for my brushes, I'm going to be using a large bristle brush and an angle brush. I'm going to use a couple of different sized angle brushes to get different types of flowers. And this is my pouring medium. I like to use a pouring medium because it does leaves less streaks and gives us a smooth finish. There's a couple of ways you can start. You can start by putting paint directly to the canvas, or you could add paint to your palette, mix it with your medium or any other colors. That's typically how I like to start. I like to start by adding my paint to my palette, and then I mix it with my medium or any other colors. And this is a wet palette that I made, and you can find the story on my Instagram at Mishy's Musings. It'll give you a step-by-step walkthrough of how I actually made that. We will be covering the entire canvas with one solid color today. I like to paint the sides as well to give it a more cohesive look. So I'm just mixing my paint off to the side here. I added a few drops of the medium and I don't really have exact measurements of how much I added. I just add what looks right. I'm a go with what looks good kind of a person. That's probably why I can't bake that well. Okay, so we're going to jump into a time lapse as I add the first layer of paint to the background. So as you can see, there are spots where we have visible brush marks. Don't worry, we're going to get all of that cleaned up later. Once we have the coat of paint on, we're going to use a larger bristle brush to get all of that cleaned up. Now that we've got most of the paint on there, we're going to grab this bigger brush and grab the last bit of paint and add it to the canvas for that clean, smooth look. We are still going to have a little bit texture. That's what I'm going for in this painting, is a little bit of texture. So I'm at the point where I am done with this background. I've got the desired effects. As you can see, there are some diagonal lines. That's what I was going for. So now I'm going to go ahead and let it dry, and we're going to come back to it once we're ready to paint some roses. Okay guys, so it's the next day. The painting had dried, and so I started recording and started painting my aqua green and white roses. It did not look the way I had envisioned. So I spent some time mixing different colors off camera and found something I really like. I added turquoise green and phthalo blue and mixed it with the aqua. And this is the result of the color on my palette right now, and I'm really liking this color. I think it's gonna bring out the roses a lot more. It's gonna give us a lot more contrast, but it's still gonna give us the desired effect. Okay, so Now that we've got our paint situation sorted out and I've got a generous amount of paint mixed, I am going to go ahead and grab my angle brush and we're going to start painting roses. Angle brushes are really good for painting flowers because you get two different colors on the brush and you get a really nice gradient, and then you'll have a really nice angles to your leaves and your petals. We're gonna first decide the placement of the roses. For this one, I am going to be grouping them towards the bottom left and adding a few in the corners. Now we're gonna get white paint on the outside part of the brush. And then we're going to take the green blue paint and the bottom inside of the brush. Then once you have the paint on your brush, you want to smooth out the paint and make a nice gradient. You can do this on your palette, that way you have no harsh lines. And you can continue to grab as much paint as you need, so your brush is coated so you don't have to go back in several times, and you can, make one fluid motion. So as you can see that my brush is completely coated with paint and there are no harsh visible lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start by making a cylinder shape, and it's just going to be a nice smooth motion, and that's going to be the middle of the rose. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to start drawing petals around. So the outside petals here are going to be fairly large. So you want to angle your brush a bit and you want to make a nice upward motion. And you can, move your brush around a little bit to get a different shape to your petal. But that's basically it. So we're going to do it again on this side, and we're just going to make a nice motion. There's a little flick at the end, a flick of your wrist, so you can get that petal to curve. And that's basically it. That's how I make my roses on my paintings. It takes a lot of time to get comfortable holding the brush and making these motions. Trust me, I'm still learning. But once you get the hang of it, you're going to be a pro. Now, as you make each flower, you want to reload your brush with paint. And you're going to do the same. You're just going to add your white paint and your green paint and then smooth it out on your palette before you start the next one. And you'll start noticing that the colors are going to start mixing more, and you're going to end up getting one color instead of the nice two distinct white and blue colors. So what you want to do is, as you see this happening, you want to rinse off your brush, and then just pick up more paint and do it again. So as you can see, we're just going to add more flowers, and we're going to keep doing this. I'm going to jump into a time lapse, and we're going to get this painting completed. Final background with these roses. Once it dries, we're going to jump into the Arabic calligraphy. Our painting is dry. Now we're going to add the final piece, and that is Allah in calligraphy. And this is the text type that we're going to use for this. I typically like to outline the Arabic calligraphy with a pencil before I go in with paint, just to make it a little bit easier. I know some placement, and then I can go in straight with the paintbrush and write in the text correctly. We're going to first start with sketching out the alif, which is the first letter in Allah. And we're going to follow the same curvature of the alif for the la, and then we're going to add the ha at the end. And Allah is the first word that I actually started writing in calligraphy. So I'm really excited to write this out. Now that we've got Allah penciled out, we're going to grab the paintbrush with the titanium white paint, and we're going to paint it out. It is a little smushed towards the left, so I am going to move it over a little bit towards the right, and it's going to hopefully look more centered. I'm going to try out two different brush sizes to see which thickness I want to use, but I am going to try it out on a different canvas so we don't go directly on the canvas we're working on. So this current brush that I'm using is a round-headed brush, and it's a little bit thicker. I don't think I want to use this thickness. I do want to use something smaller. So I'm going to grab a different brush. As you can see, it's a little bit thinner. It's not a completely round-headed brush, but it should be good. Yes, and this is something that I want to use. This is the right size I'm going for. So this is the brush we're going to use. And again, I am moving it over a little bit more towards the right to center it a bit more. I'm just going to clean off the green-blue paint, and I'm going to grab some white paint, and we're going to begin outlining the alif again. And this is more of a free form Arabic alphabet. Usually, if you're writing Arabic alphabet, there are specific rules that you should be following: the length of the letters, the width of the letters, but this is more of a free-flowing form, so we're going to write it in this manner. As I complete the lettering, I'm going to go ahead and jump into another time lapse. I'm going to use a really small detailed brush to get into the edges and clean up the lines here. So this is it, guys. This is the final product. I just have to erase the pencil marks, and then it's ready to be shipped off to my client. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content.